The interstellar transit station at Kepler 442b hummed with the usual cacophony of 1,000 different species moving through customs. Lyra stood in line, her worn travel pack slung over one shoulder, watching as beings of every conceivable shape and size shuffled forward toward the security scanners. She'd been traveling for 3 months, hopping from one freight hauler to another, working off her passage by repairing life support systems and patching hull breaches. Earth was 6 sectors behind her now, and she had no intention of going back. The line moved forward. A Crithian diplomat passed through the scanner without incident, its crystalline appendages chiming softly. Next came a family of Veloxians, their fur rippling with nervous colors as they submitted to the blood scan. Then it was Lyra's turn. Species? The security officer grunted. He was a Barghast, built like a bipedal rhinoceros with tusks that could gore through starship hull plating. Human, Lyra said, extending her arm toward the scanner. The Barghast's eyes narrowed, but he gestured her forward. The scanner hummed to life, a pale blue light washing over her skin as the needle extracted a single drop of blood. The machine whirred, processing, analyzing, cross-referencing against its database of registered species. Then the alarm went off. Red lights strobed across the terminal. The scanner's display flickered, text scrolling too fast to read before settling on 2 words that made every being in the vicinity freeze. Nova species. Containment protocol initiated. What the hell? Lyra jerked her arm back, but magnetic restraints had already deployed, locking around her wrists. The Barghast backed away, one massive hand reaching for the plasma rifle on his hip. Don't move, human. Nova classification means you're either a biological weapon or an undocumented predator. I'm neither. Lyra pulled against the restraints. I'm just a mechanic. But the damage was done. From the holding pens on the far side of customs, a chorus of snarls erupted. Lyra's blood ran cold as she turned to see what was making the sound. Predator cubs. 6 of them, each the size of a full-grown tiger pressed against the reinforced glass of their containment unit. These were Raxian juveniles, Apex, predators from a death world 3 times as hostile as Earth. Their kind had hunted the stars for millennia before the Galactic Council had finally brought them to heal, and they were all staring at Lyra, not with hunger, with fear. The smallest cub whimpered and retreated to the back of the enclosure. The others snarled and snapped, their bioluminescent stripes flashing warning colors, but they wouldn't approach the glass closest to where Lyra stood. Impossible, whispered a Veloxian security analyst, her tablet trembling in her paws. Raxians don't retreat, not from anything. More security arrived, forming a perimeter around Lyra. The Barghast officer kept his distance, weapon trained on her center mass. Someone get me a xenobiologist now. Lyra's mind raced. Nova species. The term was reserved for life forms that didn't fit into any known taxonomic category, being so dangerous or unpredictable that they required immediate quarantine and study. But that didn't make sense. Humans had been traveling the stars for 60 years. They were documented, cataloged, unremarkable, weren't they? A door hissed open, and a tall figure strode through the security cordon. She was humanoid, but clearly not human. Skin the color of deep space, eyes that held entire nebulae swirling in their depths. She wore the insignia of a council xenobiologist. I am Nova, she said, her voice resonating with harmonics that human ears shouldn't have been able to hear. And you, Lyra of Earth, are far more than you know. What are you talking about? Lyra demanded. Nova approached without fear, studying Lyra like a particularly fascinating specimen. Tell me, when did your kind discover fire? I don't know. 500,000 years ago, maybe more. And when did you reach the stars? 2067, about 150 years ago. Nova's lips curved into something that might have been a smile. From fire to faster than light travel in 500,000 years. Do you know how long it took the Crithians? 4 million years. The Barghasts? 6 million. The Veloxians are still working on it, and they've had civilization for 2 million years. The security perimeter shifted uneasily. The Barghast's rifle lowered a fraction. Humans are fast learners, Lyra said. So what? Fast learners. Nova laughed, the sound like music and thunder. Your species doesn't just learn, Lyra, you adapt. You overcome. You survive conditions that would exterminate any other life form. Your homeworld is classified as a Class 7 death world, the same category as the Raxian homeworld. Lyra glanced at the cowering predator cubs. They don't seem to think we're equals. Because you're not. Nova gestured to the scanner readout. The machine labeled you Nova species because it detected something in your blood that shouldn't exist. Trace elements from at least 40 different ecosystems, antibodies to diseases that have been extinct for millennia, genetic markers showing adaptation to radiation levels that would sterilize any other species. She leaned closer, her nebula eyes fixed on Lyra's. You're not just from a death world, Lyra. You're the product of surviving dozens of extinction events. Your species has been forged in fire again and again, and now you walk among the stars as if you belong here. We do belong here, Lyra said quietly. Yes. Nova straightened, but the galaxy isn't ready to accept what that means. The Raxians conquered 17 systems before we stopped them. They were our nightmare until you arrived. Those cubs aren't snarling out of aggression, Lyra. They're warning their packmates. They recognize what humans are. And what's that? Nova's expression turned serious. Apex predators. Not of one world, but of all worlds. You don't just survive hostile environments, you make them yours. You don't just overcome challenges, you turn them into stepping stones. And most terrifying of all? You do it with a smile and call it Tuesday. The restraints released with a soft click. The security cordon parted. You're free to go, Nova said. But understand this. The galaxy has spent eons developing rules, hierarchies, and systems of control. Your species threatens all of that simply by existing. Some will fear you. Some will try to contain you. And some, she glanced at the cowering Raxian cubs, will wisely get out of your way. Lyra rubbed her wrists and picked up her pack. I just wanted to catch a transport to the Orion Spur. Then go. Nova gestured toward the departure gates. But know that you carry the weight of your species with you. Humanity has been classified as a Nova species. The rules have changed. As Lyra walked away, the other travelers parted before her like water. The Bargist officer gave her a respectful nod. Even the Veloxian analyst had stopped trembling. Behind her, the Raxian cubs fell silent, and Lyra couldn't help but smile. Maybe the galaxy wasn't ready for humanity, but humanity had never waited for permission before.